man.
Hey, my food is cold. Reheat it.
Yes,
Draw the bath and give me a beer.
yes.
Hurry up! You're so clumsy. Why can't you get things done efficiently, you slug?
The abuse was hauled at me by my husband day after day. He sneered in satisfaction when he saw me biting my lip.
I'm the breadwinner of the family, so I must be the most respected. You can't live without me. A wife is expected to obey her husband. If you don't like it, show me you can make half of what I do.
He wasn't like this before. I couldn't take it anymore. I'm leaving you.
Ha ha ha, you idiot! You're gonna come back to me in a few days anyway. After all, you're just a housewife who doesn't make a penny.
A housewife? Unable to make a penny? What a ridiculous assumption. Whatever, he was going to realize that sooner or later. He'd know what a fool he was and who he turned against. I'm Kim, an ordinary housewife. I've been married for 5 years. My daughter Sarah is still a handful, but I'm basking in the happiness of parenthood. My husband Bill and I met at work. He worked in sales, and I was an administrative assistant in his department. He was the one chasing after me. We exchanged our numbers at an office party and hung out a few times. I was unsure about his forcefulness at first, but I fell for his masculinity and accepted his proposal.
I will make you happy for the rest of your life.
After the proposal, he asked me to quit my job and be a housewife.
My mom was a housewife, and my dad was a breadwinner in the family. I want us to be the same as them. My ideal family is one where my wife keeps the home.
He spoke enthusiastically and dreamed of creating a home as his parents did. He wanted me to support him as a traditional wife. Although I found my work at the company rewarding, I believed his words of "I will support you" and resigned from my job. When I thought about it afterward, those were such empty words.
Bring me a beer.
My husband never moved from in front of the TV, directing me with his chin. If there was even the slightest delay, he pounded the table. Soon after our marriage, his true nature was revealed. Bossy husband. No, it was antiquated harassment. Even companies nowadays didn't make their female employees fetch drinks. Apparently, it was a norm for the wife to silently obey the husband in his family. Don't overshadow me, make me look good, and don't embarrass me. I didn't know what kind of a relationship his parents had, but it seemed to be common knowledge that a wife was like a servant to her husband, at least in his mind. Wait, it was more like a slave.
Why is my dinner already cold? You must prepare a hot and delicious meal for me.
Because you came back so late.
No matter how late I come home, you must be prepared to welcome me back. Why don't you get that? I don't know what kind of discipline your parents gave you.
Then let me know before you come back at least. I can time your dinner accordingly.
Why should I be ordered by you, a housewife? I'm the one making the money. I'm the breadwinner in the family. How should I know what time I will be released from my boss? Does being a housewife make you lose common sense?
I mean,
enough. Reheat my dinner and draw the bath too.
Yes. He brought up the fact that I was a housewife every time. The one who made money was the ruler. I was a parasitic creature on him. His values seemed to be built all around money, yet he was incredibly carefree with it. Did you go gambling again? I've been asking you to stop.
Shut up. Gambling is my hobby. None of your business if I do.
Sarah is still small. We need money for childcare, and I want her to take some lessons when she starts kindergarten. I can't even buy her toys if you keep losing.
It's the role of the housewife raising a child to make ends meet. Stop being so hysteric. I'm already annoyed by losing a big game today.
You should take Sarah to the park once in a...
Shut up! I can do whatever I want with the money I make. Don't you cross me. You're just a housewife.
I was yelled at by an enraged husband every day. I never wanted Sarah to hear our arguments. Yes, if only I could be patient. But there was an incident that pushed my patience beyond its limit. It was when I returned home from out. Home? Why is my closet open? I remember closing it before I leave. I got a bad vibe and checked inside quickly. I was right. One of my bags was gone. It was an expensive and my favorite bag that my mom bought for me when I landed my first job. She knew firsthand how I struggled to find a job, so when it happened, she gifted me a designer bag. I had always cherished it, filled with the kindness of my beloved mother. When I asked Bill, he nonchalantly admitted,
"Oh yeah, that bag. I sold it online."
"Sold it? Why?"
"Because you spent on something that was beyond the means of a housewife. It was sold at quite good money. Supposed to be some kind of a designer's brand."
"You're wrong. That was..."
"Anything you buy with my salary generally belongs to me. A housewife has no say in it if I sell it or whatever. Know your status."
"You're horrible. I have my own private life too."
"What private life? You forced me to look after Sarah and went out today, telling me you were meeting up with your friend. You bought unnecessary things again, didn't you?"
"I met up with my best friend from the university. It was something really important."
"Anyway, you make no money, hence you have no right to argue with me. If you don't like it, show me you can make half what I do." "I'm sure you can't."
He sneered at me. I no longer had any desire to argue with him, who declared,
"Let's see if I can win tomorrow's game with the money from selling the bag."
Our heated argument finally reached Sarah's ears, and I heard her cry from upstairs. I couldn't stand him anymore. My patience had drained out. I had endured desperately until now, thinking if I just put up with it, it would be all good. But I couldn't take it anymore. He even messed with my fond memory of my mom. Not only that, our only daughter had finally heard us fighting. It made no sense to deal with him anymore. It definitely had a bad influence on Sarah. There was no way she was going to grow up to be an upright person living with such a father. I was determined to leave him and go back to my parents' house.
"You're gonna come back to me in a few days anyway. After all, you're just a housewife who doesn't make a penny."
He never said a word to stop us from leaving. Rather, he was arrogantly assured that I would fail. He already made up his mind that I would end up begging him to take me back later. Let him be. I was determined to start a new life. "We are home." "Hi, sweeties. Are you okay? Such trouble you are in. Come inside." "You must be hungry, Sarah." When I returned home in a gloomy mood, my parents warmly welcomed me back. They told me to stay as long as needed and were happy to have their granddaughter living with them. The warmth of a home made me weep for the first time in a long while. Now, sweetheart. You're still our daughter even though you've been away." "Mommy." "I'm okay, baby. We're gonna be happy from now on." "Dad, Mom, thank you so much. We are so grateful." Our new life had begun lovingly. Sarah had always been fond of her grandparents, so she quickly adjusted to her new life. She seemed rather at ease in the environment with many people around. I was so glad it was before she started kindergarten. I could send her to the same place I went to from my parents' house. I myself had been feeling better. The stress from Bill had taken a considerable toll on my body without me even realizing it. I was able to eat double the amount. I enjoyed every meal just because Bill didn't scold me about the cold dish and told me to make better food. Naturally, I started to smile more. My friends were happy to see me feeling better. When the peaceful time had passed, I received a call from an unknown number. I felt a bit nervous, but decided to pick up the phone. Hello, is this Kim? I was astounded to hear the voice. It was my mother-in-law. She continued, I'm sorry to call you out of the blue. You and Bill are in such a situation. Hi, is something wrong? I need to tell you something. It concerns your safety. Also, I've been meaning to apologize to you. Anyway, listen. Bill came to see us last night. In summary, her story went something like this. He visited his parents to discuss the situation late last night. They found out that I took Sarah and left home, and were stunned to hear what he told them next.
Kim left and hasn't even come back to clean the house. Thanks to her, it's complete chaos now.
But Bill, she moved back in with her parents, right? So you have to do the cleaning yourself.
She left on her selfish will. She should at least come back to clean while I'm at work. Besides, she's a housewife. It's her job to take care of the house.
You're being ludicrous.
She couldn't even do the chores right from the time she was living there. She made up all sorts of excuses like Sarah was still young. The reason she went back to her parents was a reflect of her inability. She's going to learn everything again from her mother and change her attitude toward me. And yet, she's been neglecting the house for over a month now. Listen, have you ever thought why she left you? Huh? What do you mean, Dad? Like I just said, it's because of her inability. If you seriously believe that, she will never come back to you. She's hurt that you look down on her. Oh, whatever, Dad. A housewife obviously must obey her husband. She's supposed to support me, right? You guys have been like that too.
No way! I have never been looked down on by your father. I've been caring for him because I respect the man who works tirelessly for us from the bottom of my heart.
And as for me, I truly love her. I've never thought she is lower than me. I don't have life as is without her. No, it's my fault if I made you believe that a husband is above a wife. I apologize to you and Kim. Before that, you must apologize to her. And while you wait for her to forgive you, reflect on what you have done.
That's crazy. He was completely denied his claim by his own parents, whom he was supposed to learn from. Even then, his idea remained firm. No matter how hard they lectured him, he adamantly denied his fault. It would have been okay if it stopped there, but he sounded like he was coming to your parents' house to see you. He was like, I'm going to tell her how it should be. It made my husband and I worried about you. It's nice of you to let me know. Thank you so much for your concern. A part of us always worried that he may be treating you badly, but we are very sorry for not trying to get to the truth sooner. Whatever the situation turns out to be, we'll be on your side. Thank you. I will come and see you with Sarah once things settle. Watch out for Bill. You never know what he might do if he gets carried away. Her warning was realized soon after, when I was out leaving Sarah with my mom at home.
Hey, Kim!
Oh no, Bill! He approached me on the street. My husband, I see in a month, looks very disheveled. His shirt was shabby, and his suit was noticeably wrinkled, and didn't look like it had a single lint bulb removed. When I was home, I never missed a day taking care of his suits. Why are you here?
That's my line. What are you doing out here in the middle of the day, leaving Sarah alone?
Well,
you're all dressed up. Don't tell me you're going to meet some guy with a fancy makeup and tight skirt. You look like an Avon sales lady.
I'm just meeting my usual friend. None of your business anyway.
It's my business. I'm your husband. You must have bought these clothes with my salary. Don't you dare talk back to me.
He ran it as usual, but I had no reason to endure him anymore. I bought this with my own money. My makeup and shoes too. How am I supposed to spend your money when I'm not with you anymore in the first place?
Well, wait, you were squandering. That's why I got this stupid thing in the mail.
He confronted me with a paper bill.
Credit card payment. It couldn't be paid from my account. This never happened before you left home.
Oh, right, I got it. There was not enough money in his account, and the amount couldn't be debited, so there was a notice from the bank. He thought it was my fault for spending all that money. A shallow mind all the way. I sighed in pity.
What's wrong?
I couldn't help but feel sorry for you because you're so stupid.
Stupid? How dare you?
Yeah. You're the breadwinner who brings money, right? You're too stupid to keep track of your spending.
That's because you overspend.
I swear, I have not touched your money. There's no way even if I wanted to anyway. Because you don't make that kind of money to begin with. It seemed he was having a hard time understanding. I wasn't surprised. I explained to him in detail. Your cheap salary was never enough. It wasn't a problem for a family of 3 to live normally on $4,000, but it was impossible thanks to your gambling.
My gambling?
You lost a great amount, and yet the following week you had to do it all over again. Of course, no money left in the account. I was making up the shortfall to maintain the family finance.
What do you mean by making up? How do you get that kind of money? You are just a housewife. No way. You have a sugar daddy.
Stop saying vulgar things. I earned from a normal job. You were the only one who thought I was a housewife. I was making money from a remote job. I worked from home in between busy household chores. The job had been given by my best friend from the university. She majored in the French language with me. She had a consulting company for the translation business. I steadily built my own career by being entrusted with small jobs. Sometimes I was out to meet her for business meetings. It was never for useless shopping. My stupid husband never knew.
You say you are making up for my losses, but can you make that much money doing that job?
He finally seemed to believe me and asked me with a pale face. I proudly answered. It was very little at first. It's a kind of job where your experience is valued above all else. But I stuck to it and finally got my name recognized. Lately, I have been able to get some big projects. For this month, I'd say I'm at about $8,000.
$8,000?
As I recall, the one who makes the most money is above the other, right? My salary is double yours, so I'm way above you.
Well, that's...
I hate to say this, but I've done all the housework and child rearing on my own, as well as my job. Can you imagine how hard that is? You only work and gamble the rest of the time.
Wait,
He seemed to be shrinking. He couldn't have looked more pathetic. But the next second, he was on his knees on the ground.
I'm sorry. It's all my fault. I had no idea you had been covering for me.
Covering for you? No way. It was a tool to free myself from you.
I sincerely apologize. Please come back. The house is a mess without you. I don't know how to dress, and I'm bored of eating takeaways.
You still treat me as a housewife at this point. Seriously, you are incapable of learning. The breadwinner gets a higher rank, right? Then you clean and cook yourself. You who make cheap income. I quickly turned my back on him, who mourned in a pitiful voice. I was on my way to meet a client for a big project. I was dressed to impress and didn't have time to waste on a pathetic man. I turned around as I'm walking away with one more thought, showing a green to tearful bill. I've seen a divorce lawyer. The divorce papers should be sent to you this time, not the credit card bill. Please take care of it. He grunted something, and this time I didn't look back. A year later, I'm still working as a translator. My friend asked me to join her company, but I enjoy my work as is. I've got a translated mystery novel coming out with my name on it. Sarah started kindergarten. With the help of my parents, she quickly adapted and made friends. My ex-in-laws told me when I visited them once that Bill hadn't been able to reflect on what he had done. He told people around him he was glad to have gotten rid of a useless wife, which made his parents enraged and cut ties with him. Rumor on the wind is that he can't get rid of his gambling habit and is involved with a loan shark now. Maybe he still insists that a husband is better than a housewife, but that's no longer any of my business. I, with my parents and Sarah, will make a one family of 4.
I checked the marriage registration form and submitted it to a clerk together with my fiancé Chris. The clerk said, "Well, let me check it for you," and received it. While waiting, Chris walked to his family in a good mood. With him, I could build a happy family and get along well with his family. Just when I was thinking that, I heard worrisome words in the conversation between Chris and his family. It took a long time. Once they submit the marriage registration form, she won't be able to escape from us easily. I finally got my servant. I won't have to work now either. Chris, you did really well. From now on, we can live luxuriously. Yes, I want a brown bag. I want golf clubs. I'll even let her do all the housework. We can live gracefully from now on. I couldn't believe what I just heard. What are these people talking about? As I froze in surprise, the clerk was opening her eyes wide. Apparently, she heard that too. Maybe Chris and his family were so happy that they didn't realize they were talking louder than they thought. The clerk looked at me and whispered, "There's no omission, but I'll give this back to you," and gently handed the marriage registration form back to me. I whispered, "Thank you so much," and put it in my bag. My name is Mary, 30-year-old office worker. I studied really hard to get into a high-level high school and university. Then I got a job at one of the most famous IT companies in the world, and I focused on producing results. Then I was promoted to section manager at the age of 30. The harder I worked, the more results I got, which is fun and fits my personality. But sometimes I feel lonely. It's been a long time since I had a boyfriend last time. And when I see my friends around me getting married or having babies and looking happy, I sometimes feel sad. I wonder if I'm going to be alone for the rest of my life. Mary, what are you thinking about? My coworker Justin talked to me. Oh, hi Justin. Did I look like that? You look like you were having a problem. Oh, it's nothing. Thank you for worrying. Oh, okay. That's not good. Maybe I really should get a boyfriend. I asked a friend of mine for advice, and she held a home party for me. That's when I met Chris. Chris is the same age as me and works for an IT company too, so we had a lot to talk about. We started dating, and the relationship continued smoothly, and we got to know each other better and better. He's very family oriented, and I got to meet his family early on. I was often invited to his parents' house for dinner. Mary, nice to meet you. I'm Chris's mom, Catherine. I'm his dad, Mike. Nice to meet you. I'm Mary. Hi, I'm Chris's sister, Kate. I didn't know Chris had such a cute girlfriend. His family seemed very nice. Do you have any food you don't like? No, I can eat anything. Chris has a lot of picky eaters. Oh, that's a childhood thing. Well, what did Chris hate? He hated broccoli and asparagus. I had to shred it and put it in meat. Oh, really? Mom, stop it. You are embarrassing me. A friendly and happy family. That's what I always wanted. My parents divorced when I was in middle school. I lived with my dad, and my sister lived with my mom. My sister and I didn't get along very well, so when I found out that we were going to be separated, I wasn't that sad. The reason why my dad and mom divorced was that both of them loved their work and didn't want to do housework for us at all. In the end, they decided to divorce, taking one child, and do the housework equally. Both my dad and mom had high incomes, so neither of us had trouble living. My dad was not indifferent, but basically left me alone and let me be free. I really wanted to be independent. I thought the best way for that was to go to a high-level university and get a job at a good company. So I studied really hard. Then I was able to get a job at one of the most famous IT companies in the world. But I had never felt family love. So I adored Chris's warm family. Think of us as your other family. I guess Chris said so because he knew my family situation. I was regularly invited to his parents' house for dinner. His sister Kate seems to think of me as a real sister and asks me about work. After graduating from university, Kate got a job at a dishonest company. Long hours, no overtime pays, and too much work. So she quit and is now working part-time at an ice cream shop. But now she's looking for a full-time job and asks me for advice. Thank you, Mary. This is very helpful. It's okay, Kate. I like talking to you. Mary, you are like a real big sister. I always wanted a big sister. Oh, that's so sweet. My sister never thanked me for anything, and she wasn't as nice as you at all. Oh, really? Then let's go to lots of places together. Great, let's do that. Wow, I'm so happy. I have many cafes and restaurants I want to visit with you. Okay, then let's go there when we have a day off on the same day. Yay, I'm so excited. Kate was really cute, and I was glad that I got to know her. It was around this time that Chris proposed to me out of the blue. Mary, will you marry me? I want to build a warm family with you. I was so happy, and we told Chris's family that he proposed to me, and we are getting married. Oh, you're finally getting married. Finally, Chris proposed to you. Now you're going to be my sister-in-law. His family was so happy. We'll have to talk about the wedding and stuff. Chris looked so happy. That day, we had dinner there and left. Mary, are you getting married? Yes, I'm finally getting married. Congratulations. Thank you. People at work congratulated me. On the next holiday, we were invited to Chris's parents' house again for lunch. On the way, Chris said, I have something important to tell you later. Okay. Chris said happily, so I guess it will be something good. When we arrived at his parents' house, there was a stuffed turkey on the table. Are you celebrating something today? Chris's mom smiled and said, I'm so happy to think that Mary is going to be my daughter-in-law. She looked cute as she said it shyly. We opened a cold beer and enjoyed turkey. It's nice to have something to celebrate. After some light chit-chat, Chris said, Oh, I forgot to tell you something important. I'm thinking of going to the marriage registry today. What? Actually, I've already prepared it. I was surprised. Sure, we are going to marriage registry, but why today? Is today a special day? No, it's not like that. Then why are we going today? I just wanted to get it done as soon as possible. Why not after the wedding? The wedding is still a long way off. When we visited several restaurants, we found one that we really liked and decided to have our wedding there. However, it was a very popular restaurant, so we were able to make a reservation a few months later. I think we should wait until after the wedding. No, I want to be married to you as soon as possible. The sooner the better for us too. Mary, I agree with Chris. You should get married as soon as possible. We were going to find an apartment which is in the middle of Chris's work and my work. Yeah, about that. We were thinking of moving into this house together. What? I was so surprised. Well, I thought we'd be living alone. I mean, it'll take time to find an apartment. We have to prepare for the wedding too. Then I think it'll be better to live at my parents' house first and take our time to look for an apartment to live in. Chris may have a point, but I'm worried to live with his family. And I don't have a good impression of living together with my family. Chris's family members are all nice, but will they really be okay? We are already ready to welcome you into our family. We understand your family situation, so you don't have to worry about anything. I thought at this point I could live with them. Okay, thank you so much. Then let's go to the marriage registry. Kate said so, and Chris and his parents agreed. I said, okay, let's do it. And we all decided to go to the marriage bureau together. Kate, who didn't drink alcohol, drove the car and we arrived there. I must have had too many beers and I was a bit nervous that I had to go to the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom before submitting the marriage registration form. When I came back from the bathroom, Chris's parents and Kate were talking happily. I checked the marriage registration form and submitted it to a clerk with Chris. The clerk said, well, let me check it for you, and received it. While waiting, Chris walked to his family in a good mood. With him, I could build a happy family and get along well with his family. Just when I was thinking that, I heard worrisome words in the conversation between Chris and his family. It took a long time. Once they submit the marriage registration form, she won't be able to escape from us easily. I finally got my servant. I won't have to work now either. Chris, you did really well. From now on, we can live luxuriously. Yes, I want a brand bag. I want golf clubs. I'll even let her do all the housework. I couldn't believe what I've just heard. What are these people talking about? As I froze in surprise, the clerk was opening her eyes wide. Apparently she heard that too. Maybe Chris and his family were so happy that they didn't realize they were talking louder than they thought. The clerk looked at me and whispered, there's no omission, but I'll give this back to you, and gently handed the marriage registration form back to me. I whispered, thank you so much, and put it in my bag. After I put it in my bag, Chris came to me. Has it been submitted with no problem? Yes. Then let's go home. I followed Chris's family. They used to look like a warm, friendly family, but now they just look scary. That day, they drove me home, but the next day, Chris told me that we got married and we should live together at his parents' house now. I said okay, and decided to move into his parents' house to find out if that conversation was true. Of course, I pretended that I canceled my apartment and told Chris that I would deal with everything by myself, saying that I would sell my stuff to a recycling company soon. And we started living together at his parents' house. As soon as I arrived there, the attitude of Chris's family changed. Mary, I will manage all the finances in this house, so put all your salary into this house. What? And Chris agreed with her. I'm sure my mom will take care of it well. She will give you money for lunch and other things. And she will manage household finances well. Oh, really? That's right. So don't worry about giving me your entire salary. Oh, and one more important thing. Do all the housework. What? Do you have a problem with that? I'm working, so it's a bit of a burden doing all the housework. Oh, are you such a coward who won't even try from the start? What? Shut your mouth and do all the chores. Now you're our daughter-in-law. Chris's dad said this with the scariest look he had ever shown me. And even Kate said, I like your brown bags. Buy some for me too. And Chris said, Mary, you are now my wife and a member of the family, so do everything we tell you to. I realized that it's their real character. They have been trying to take advantage of me from the beginning. I don't want to. What? What did you say? I can't accept everything you just told me. I won't do all the housework. I won't give you my entire salary. When I said that, Chris and his family got really angry. Hey Mary, what are you talking about? You're our daughter-in-law. Just do what we tell you to. Your value is only to enrich our lives. They raised their voices. I'm not your daughter-in-law. What? You had the conversation at the marriage bureau, didn't you? After that conversation, I decided not to register our marriage. Their faces turned pale. Oh, fudge. Are you sure you didn't give it to them? Why don't you check with the marriage bureau? I already put the marriage registration form in the trash. I can't live with people who take advantage of me. Let's just break up, Chris. Chris fell into a heap. I left the house. Apparently, they had already made plans to go on an overseas trip with their family of 4 and have even booked a luxury hotel and a first-class airline tickets because they thought they would get all my salaries. The day I broke up with Chris was already the day before the trip, so they had to pay a lot of cancellation fees. Chris asked me to pay the cancellation fee, but of course I refused and immediately blocked him from contacting me. Now they have around $50,000 in debt and they're all cursing each other. They were only connected with money. Chris's family didn't have a very good relationship either. Mary, did you cancel the marriage? Oh, Justin, have you heard about that already? Rumors really do spread fast, don't they? You can laugh if you want. I'm not laughing. I'm happy. What? Why? Because that means I have a chance. What? He looked embarrassed when he said that. A few months later, he asked me to date him. And he proposed to me recently. I'm so happy now. Chris and his family are a bit scary. They've been only nice to Mary from the beginning to take advantage of her. I'm glad she found out their true nature just before they got married. I was wondering about the rest of the story with Justin, but for now, I wish Mary a happy marriage this time. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our channel if you like. See you in the next video.